What do I have to look at? I, as a person who wants to perform this examination, because eventually I want to have a working plan as to how to change. You want to escape the bad. Yeah, right. This is what we started with. To escape the evil, meaning to turn to my development more quickly than the blows that I get from nature that push me to develop. Yeah, if I can do it in a good way, what do I need the blows for? Right? So therefore, I sit down in a circle with other people, and in our free time, we start examining ourselves. Who are we? What are we? We have Kabbalistic books that speak about these things. How do we have to build this circle? Because what does it mean? 10 people that get together, the so-called minyan in Hebrew. That from this minyan, from this gathering of 10, we can give an example for the whole of humanity. I don't have to connect with 7 billion people or even with 15 million Jews around the world. But it's enough for me to find the connection with 10 other people, and this is actually the mini model of the entire world, meaning each one represents a different kind. Yeah, it somehow happens this way. And so, what happens is that if I participate in these kinds of exercises, I correct myself to have a good attitude towards others, towards millions and billions of others, really. Where through this tent that I'm in, through it, I see the world through different eyes. As simple as that. And therefore, when you're saying to delve in and examine the 10 days of repentance, where do we have to? This is actually the situation. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be during the 10 chronological days of repentance that you have in your calendar. It doesn't matter when. It can be in the middle of the year, at the end of the year. It doesn't matter when. The fact that people come and become included in these circles, by this they start improving themselves, and then they go forward. And they spare themselves of the blows, of the pressures of life that were ready to put pressure on them, and then they advance this way and merit a better life. And therefore we say, have a good year. For us to really have a good year if we take care of ourselves this way. Therefore, after the decision of having a new year, we come to the 10 days of repentance, a special examination of how do we sort our desires and prepare them for correction. And then comes their first correction, which is the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippurim. How do I know that I went through the 10 days of repentance in a good way? What's the preferable result that I have to come to? So I can tell myself, okay, I did good. What am I aspiring for? I have to reach a state where I decide, where it's obvious to me that I have to sort specifically in this clear way my desires, that there is a part of them that are forbidden for me to use. Actually, all of my desires are ruled out because they're all for my own benefit. And I want to operate all of my desires only for the benefit of others now. When you're saying for my own benefit, you mean for my own benefit at the expense of others? Of course. There's no other way about it. There's nothing else. Because we're in a system in which we're all tightly connected. All of us are tightly interconnected, the whole of humanity. But suppose 10 people, we're all connected to each other. If I do something for myself, for sure I'm pulling from you and from her and from everyone else. But many times people feel, don't give me examples from life. I'm telling you how it happens. That we don't see it, we don't. But this is how it is. So if I take, for sure it will be missing someplace else. Yes. This is the network of connections between us. This is how we're interconnected. If I take something for myself, that's it. Unless I'm taking things for myself which are necessary for my corporeal existence to sustain my body. Because the body isn't taken into account as a part of the human level. Because in body I'm like any other animal and I have to give my body so and so much calories. But that's with respect to necessary things. So it's neither praised nor condemned. But if we're talking about pulling something beyond that, then of course it's the expense of others, because in the system we are in a human kind of connection between us, not a corporeal, bodily one. And therefore if I take something for myself, then I'm taking it from someone for sure. So again, what's the preferable result from the 10 days of repentance? That I'll examine myself and I'll see that everything that I do only for my own benefit. And then comes the day of Kipur, the day of atonement, where I disconnect from this action of pulling for myself. And therefore, there are the 5 mortifications there, that this, and that are forbidden for me to do. 5 forbidden things. And especially the fasting, that I stop using the system the way I used it before. I make a stop. And from this moment on, what I start doing, I start working only in bestowal. And therefore comes the holiday of Sukkot, connection, a happy holiday, Simchat Torah, the rejoice of the Torah, and then we start the correction until Chanukah, the holiday of light, until Purim, which is Purim, like the day of Kippurim, of atonement, and this is how we come to the correction.